Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to another edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast. As we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studio. Take back control of your life. Call them today. This is very key. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. It's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. And joining me here on a very chilly Wednesday here in Central Florida, it's my great friend, basketball legendary coach, yes, Billy Mims. And we got to talk some hoops because there's so many things going on right now. Coach, how you doing today?
Well, you can see I got the coat on today, Mark, because as you said, it is a chilly Central Florida. When I got up this morning, I checked the thermostat. I didn't put the heat on last night, but the thermostat in the house said it had dropped in my house to 62 degrees.
Yeah.
I said, but yesterday it was like 72 degrees in my house. So how cold is it? I checked my phone. It was 35 degrees outside this morning. I'm going, I had to look and make sure my pool didn't freeze, you know?
You didn't sign up for this, did you? Oh, no. No one signed up for this. But yes, it is chilly out there. Stay warm for the next couple of days, even though the rest of the country is like under 20 inches of snow. You know, it's funny.
Yeah, but the rest of the country is in Florida, okay?
Okay, that needs to be a shirt, what you just said. The rest of the country in Florida. All right, let's go over all the crazy headlines in the world of basketball. All right, I want to start with a positive. I just want to say this because we've both seen them play this year right in our backyard. UCF basketball. I'm going to go over the stats. They won last night, defeating, what was it, Arizona State. First time the Sun Devils have ever been there to the arena. They won 79-76 to improve to 16-4 on the season, 5-3 in conference, 3 games out of first place, but they're not going to catch Arizona. But they were down big. They had to go on a 14-2 run in that second half to tie the game with about 2.5 to go. They hit some free throws. They hit a 3. They got the win. All right, I saw them play Arizona. You saw them beat Kansas. This feels like right now, this is the best team UCF has had since Taco Fall and BJ Taylor were on this team that made the tournament in 19. Dude, that was a big win last night. Even though Arizona State is a 500 team, that's a nice win. You've seen them play. What are your thoughts on UCF right now?
Well, I actually think that, they've put together a really nice team. I mean, after the Kansas game, in the press conference, I was listening to the players, the coaches talk about, what they felt. And, after that press conference, they had Fulks was in the press conference. And I want to say it was Stillwell in the press conference after the game. Let me just double check and make sure I get this ringer turned off here.
Oh, no worries, dude. No worries.
We don't want to make shit. We don't want to have like interruptions in our show today. But in the press conference afterwards, they were talking about the confidence they have as a team, that they believe that they can go out there toe to toe with anyone and have a chance to win. That's number one. They had they talked about the assistant coaches really doing a great job this year. As you know, they've got an almost entire team of transfers, almost the entire team from the transfer portal. So they've come from all over everywhere and come together to build this UCF Knights team this year. And I think they've done a really good job. And a lot of it was the assistant coaches taking the head coach's vision, okay? And I thought he did a great job of giving that vision to his assistants, saying, this is what I want us to look like. Now go out and get the kind of players that will make us this kind of team. I think they've done that, Mark, and that's why they beat a good Kansas team at home, a nationally ranked Kansas team at home. They've competed in almost every game this year. I mean, come on. Early in the season, the second game of the season, they lost to Vanderbilt, right? And that game was a 105-93 game. Very competitive game for UCF. So I believe that they are a tournament contender. I believe they're one of the top 4 or 5 teams in their conference. I also believe that all year, depending on week to week, they're going to be scratching. They got there. Unfortunately, they got there got in the top 25, and as soon as they did, the jinx hit them. They lost right away, and they fell out of the national rankings. But I believe they're going to be the edge of that top 25 all season, which will get them, I believe, if they continue to get better, continue to play as they've played in their big games, and certainly they play really well at home. That's been something people have seen. They're a very good home basketball team. Teams come into Orlando, and they must start thinking about the mouse or something, maybe after the game, because they are not as focused in Orlando as they are in other places. And they come here, and the UCF Knights put on a great show, from the dance team, the cheerleaders, the light show, the music, the band. Everything there is big-time college basketball. And the people in Orlando that have not been out to see the UCF Knights play this year, and they're college, and they call themselves college basketball fans, they don't need to drive to Gainesville. They don't need to drive to Miami. They don't need to drive to Tallahassee. They need to get over there to East Orlando to UCF and watch a quality college basketball team play.
I will piggyback on what you're saying from the standpoint, again, 16-4. I think they're in the hardest conference in college basketball. And here's my example. In the span of 3 days, you took on number 1 Arizona. Then you had to go to Ames, Iowa, and you had to take on Iowa State, who's ranked in the top 5. It always constantly changes with the rankings. All right, they lose both those games. But what you're saying, competitive in every single game. Then look, you get the win last night. Then what's going to happen? You're at home this weekend against number 11 Texas Tech. Everyone's ranked in the conference. Everyone. So you've been doing this a long time at many levels. So if you're doing bracketology right now, as we're here at the end of January, 16-4, 5-3, I kind of feel like, all right, get to 22 wins if you can, win a game or so in your conference, and I think you punch your ticket. How do you look at it as a guy that's been in this situation before?
I do believe you're right there, Mark. I mean, Johnny Dawkins, as I said earlier, had a vision for this team this year, and he put together a good basketball team. He's got what he wanted. I mean, they've got a kid that could get drafted, Riley Kugel, who's a local kid from the Orlando area who's come home now to play his final season of college basketball. But Riley Kugel can score the basketball, okay? He really shoots the basketball well. Jermichael Stillwell gives him that body. He's got an NBA body on him. John Bowl has the length. He's a rim protector, shot blocker. Fulks. A lot of people remember a name Fulks and point guard position in Orlando. Don't get confused, okay? This Fulks playing point guard for UCF is having a fantastic season. They've got talent. They've got depth. And despite the fact that they, as we said moments ago, they're all transfers, and maybe the majority of them playing together for the first time, they've really come together as a basketball team, 16-4. Heck, when I went to watch them play Kansas came in ranked 17th in the nation, and they were 11-3 or 10-3 at the time. UCF was unranked at the time, but they were 11-1, I believe, when I went to watch them play Kansas. And they beat Kansas. They proved that they are a team that can compete night in and night out with the top 25. You mentioned coming up, they got Texas Tech. Grant McCaslin doing a tremendous job at Texas Tech. Solid basketball coach, solid program. I know him very well. When he was at Midland College in Midland, Texas, I was at UT Permian Basin, University of Texas Permian Basin. We both lived in Midland. We used to take our kids to the fair together in Midland. So I know Grant really well. Very good basketball coach. But I tell you what, that'll be a great coaching matchup. Grant McCaslin, Johnny Dawkins. Johnny, in my opinion, has really done a great job with the man management of bringing all this talent together, putting a team on the floor that's the style of basketball he wants to play. And as you said, I'll piggyback on your statement, in one of the country's toughest leagues. The other night, you talk about Arizona, number 1 in the nation, one of only 2 undefeated teams in the country. Although last night, my buddy Frank Martin up at UMass almost knocked off Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio won it in the final minute, sort of took over the game with 2.5 minutes to go or so, and UMass couldn't get it done. But it was a very close, tough game at Miami. And Frank Martin, who used to be the head coach at Kansas State, used to be the head coach at South Carolina, took South Carolina to a Final Four, almost had the biggest win in UMass since John Calipari's days there with the upset of Miami last night. But Miami of Ohio and Arizona, only 2 undefeated teams in the country right now. But Arizona, a couple of nights ago, also took on BYU.
Yeah, 3-point win. Yeah.
3-point win that could have gone either way. BYU had a big-time shot late in the game to win the game. Missed the 3-pointer that could have won the game. So, again, when you look at BYU, Arizona, as you mentioned earlier, Kansas, Iowa State, I mean, it is a brutal league. The SEC is really good. The ACC is really good. But, right now you better throw the Big 10, Big 12. The Power Four right now are all very, very good.
All right, I'm going to say this to you right now. Okay, nationally, the casual sports fan has been so occupied with college football and the NFL, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Basketball's been going on. We've been talking basketball for months since last November. We have. It feels like, all right, all we have left for football is the Super Bowl. Now's the time for basketball to nationally shine, where these games are now going to be on nonstop. That's what it feels like to me. So what's exciting about UCF, and we got some other headlines we have to get to, is last night is an indicator this team is different. Last year, they lose that game at home against a 500 team. They needed a great comeback to win last night, but they got the win. If they lose that game last night, I think they're out. I think they go on a tailspin after
Well, and you could be right, but I come back to saying, when you have a comeback like that, a huge comeback win at home, it again is a confidence boost. And this is a team that already believes in themselves. Okay. They've only lost 4 games, and their 4 losses were all to pretty credible basketball teams. Okay. So they've competed in every game. They've lost 4 really tough games, couple, obviously some on the road away from the friendly confines of their campus, UCF. But, Mark, I think this team has talent. They have depth. They believe in themselves. They got a couple of kids that are going to play pro basketball very soon. So I think, again, this is a team that maybe the national basketball media has overlooked early on. But if they can get on a roll now down the stretch and that confidence continues to build, I think UCF can surprise some people. They'll surprise some visiting teams. They'll surprise some teams on the road. And they're going to surprise some of the national media. Johnny Dawkins is going to start to get talked about as we go into February, mid-February, late February, early March. This, as you said, this is the time when college basketball is under the spotlight.
I have seen them beat Michigan, Kansas. I've seen multiple wins in this stadium. And I love you bring that home court advantage. I think these fan bases do think, hey, I'll go down to Florida. I'll watch my team beat some stupid UCF team I've never heard of. We'll go to Disney World. It'll be a great vacation. So it's like the players, the coaches, the fans, they go to that arena like, well, we're going to win. And then they get punched in the mouth. It's pretty remarkable. I will say this. I know they lost against Arizona. There are times in that game, that is the loudest I have ever heard that arena. Loud. It is small, jam-packed. You're right on the court. So, dude, we have to figure this out. I know things get busy. We need to go. I can't go Saturday. We need to, moving forward, you may have to go to a game. We got to go to another UCF game. We got to do that. We have to see this team play. And this is, I'm just going to say this. This is what they envisioned when they joined the Big 12. They're not acting like, oh, we're going to win the conference every year. Hey, let's be competitive in a very tough conference, and let's get to the NCAA tournament. Do you feel that way as well when you look at the program?
I agree with you 100%. When they joined the Big 12, they knew it was going to be a tough challenge both in football and in basketball.
Yeah.
But you know what? They wanted that challenge. I mean, what are they now? The second or third largest student population of any university in America? they're a big time university, period. And I'm somebody that can remember. I saw them grow from a small NCAA Division II program in the Sunshine State Conference, playing in an old gym with metal bleachers, to where they are today, playing in a beautiful facility. It's a small facility, but it is a first-class facility. And the show they put on there, Mark, they put on a show there with the band, the cheerleaders, the dance girls, the lighting, the smoke that's going on, the atmosphere in the crowd. It is better than some NBA arena atmospheres. So I'm telling you, I agree with you 100%, Mark. This is where they thought they would be. This is where they wanted to be. And through their quality coaching in both football and basketball, they're getting somewhere, and they're getting there quickly, Mark. They have a legitimate chance year in, year out now to compete in the Big 12 in basketball and in football. I'm going to stretch that out there. They can compete because you know why? College recruits want to come to Orlando, Florida. Football kids want to come to Orlando. Basketball players want to come to Orlando. This is where it's nice. It's cold here today. We're complaining it's cold. It's not a foot of snow outside.
Oh, no.
This is where kids go to class in flip-flops and T-shirts and shorts year-round. And they love that kind of weather aspect. And Orlando is a city of entertainment. You got Universal Studios, 4 parks there, 4 Disney parks, SeaWorld, whatever. You've got downtown Orlando and the nightlife. You've got an NBA team in town to watch. So college athletes certainly put Orlando, Florida high on their list. It's not difficult to recruit quality talent to Florida, to the state of Florida, to the city of Orlando. It used to be about Miami, Tallahassee, and Gainesville. Not anymore. You better throw Orlando and UCF into that equation.
All right. We just went 17 minutes praising the program. Okay. They better not come out and lay an egg at home on Saturday. And I know Coach Dawkins will have the guys ready, but like you can't hear all this. This is very key. Don't listen to us if you're the players or the coaches. Don't. And I say that in high regard. Have a chip on your shoulder the rest of the way. Yeah. Don't read the press clippings, as they say. Keep it going.
Mark, you're right again. And here's the thing. Everybody talks about, look at the SEC right now, okay? Florida was rolling and doing a great job. They were sitting atop the SEC. Alabama, another team up there. And all of a sudden last week, Florida gets beat. Alabama gets beat. And people say, look at Arkansas. Look at how well Arkansas was playing. But they went on the road and lost to Auburn. They lost a couple of games they should have won, right? And all of a sudden you think, people say, well, what's going on there? And I say, welcome to the SEC. That's what's going on there. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing in the Big 12. If, to finish up the conversation we're having about UCF, look what's coming up. Even though I still think they're going to win 20-plus games, I do believe that. I believe they're going to get into the NCAA tournament. But look at the gauntlet in front of them. You talk about just having a big comeback win against Arizona State. You mentioned they next have got to play Texas Tech. Right after Texas Tech, they have to go to Houston and play another top 10 team on the road in Houston. Ooh. After that, they have to go to Cincinnati, play a tough team. Then they have West Virginia at home, TCU at home, at Utah, at BYU. Still got to go to BYU. Baylor and Oklahoma State come back to Orlando, and then they go to West Virginia. That is a gauntlet, and even the top teams in the league will find some hiccups as they go through that Big 12 gauntlet. So, again, they're one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion, but they got a tough road ahead of them.
You are absolutely right. That is a gauntlet. And by the way, I just want to say this. Arizona is some type of retro team from the 90s. I swear you see them. They have all these bigs. I'm telling you, it's like from 1995. Like, is Rick Smits on the Pacers showing up on this team? So what they do is, I don't think they're a great outside shooting team. They just have so many bigs. So they just keep going half court, slow basketball, and they suffocate you on offense and defense. They wear you down. So,
you're absolutely right. But think about what they have. They got a great backcourt. I mean, when they beat BYU the other night, their 1-2 guys did all the scoring. I mean, like 85% of their offense came from their 1-2. Their backcourt is very, very good. Very strong point guard, very strong shooting guard. And then you go inside and you got the big boy inside that's been a Team USA player, all of his career has played boatloads of games for our youth national programs and COA. And he's a beast. He's a big body inside. They've got bigs that can step out and shoot the ball as well, knock down big threes. They've got Tommy Lloyd's done a great job there of putting together, like you said, kind of an old school Arizona type basketball team from the old days when Arizona was really good. And now they're back at the forefront of college basketball.
Okay, so here's my thing. I was talking to my buddy Garrett, who covers college basketball as well. Okay, if you get to the tournament, it's a neutral site game. You always hammer this. It's a neutral site game. It's 40 minutes. If you're a mid-major and you could shoot the three lights out, I think you could beat them, though. It's not best of 7. It's best of 1, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think you can get them in one game. That's all
that's a great point, Mark. And you and I have talked about this hundreds of times in the past. We can talk about the the CFP, college football playoffs, and how difficult it is to win. Come on, okay? Those things, again, start on home fields. If you get into the first round, you get a home game, right? And you don't go on the road until you get to play the bowl game issues.
Yeah.
And you only have to play a couple of road games to win a national championship. March Madness, 64 teams, not 12, which should be going to 16 immediately. 12 is still a problem. It's wrong. Should go to 16 in the college football playoff. It should be a Sweet 16, all on neutral fields, no home field advantage, right? That's my take. But March Madness, 68 teams, because you got the first 4 in Dayton, 68 teams, and you've got to win. If you're in the first 4, you got to win 7 games, okay? 7 games, and all of them on neutral courts, all of them, unless the University of Dayton makes the first 4. So you're talking about a gauntlet of the best teams in the country. As you said, it's one-off. It's not a best of 7 like the NBA. It's a one-game, neutral floor, no home court advantage. You better travel well. You better play well, no matter where you are in the country. And you got to go through a gauntlet of 6 or 7 wins on neutral floors to be a national champion. The CFP is nothing close to that.
You're absolutely right. Okay, real quick. I don't understand this. So there's a guy in Alabama who played in the G League, but now he's coming off the bench. He can't even start. What? What? Look, I don't get that. I don't know if you know this. LeBron James's son is on Arizona's team, can't get on the court. That's another story. Okay, I don't get that. But good. How does that? I don't understand. I thought, so you're an NBA G League player, then you go to play Bama? How does this work exactly? Maybe you could explain it.
Well, right now, the NCAA has some issues. There's no doubt about that. Okay? Yeah. They've created a mess. Okay? They opened a can of worms when they started NIL. Okay? Money, paying players. And they can say it's name, image, and likeness. That's what they want to call it to sound cute. It's pay to play. Because those guys are getting paid big money based on how much talent they have, how good a player they are. Trust me, they can say this is for your name, image, and likeness. If you have a suck season, your NIL agreement will be ripped up and you will lose money. So how is your name, image, likeness what they're paying for? No, they're paying for you to score points, grab rebounds, steal the ball, dish out assists. They're paying for you to produce numbers. You're paid to play and paid to play well. And if you do, you make millions of dollars. Well, guess what? If you leave college and go to the G League or almost any pro league in the world, you're not making millions of dollars, okay? So you make more money now playing high major college basketball than you can make as a professional player in the G League or many foreign leagues around the world. So the problem is, number one, the money created the problem. Problem number 2, Remember Diego Pavia? He filed a lawsuit. He won his lawsuit, and he got to play another year. They took away one of his years of junior college. Now he's fighting to get his other year of junior college thrown out. So, number one, money is a problem for the NCAA. Number two, lawsuits are a problem for the NCAA. So, the NCAA, in any stretch of the imagination, at any scenario, when a player, a student athlete, or their parents threaten a lawsuit and get legal representation and sue the NCAA, right now the NCAA is scared of that. They're worried about lawsuits. They already lost a very big lawsuit that cost the NCAA and all of its membership a lot of money, right? They had to settle. They didn't lose the lawsuit. They settled the lawsuit for millions and millions of dollars. They're worried that if they continue to go down this road of settlements or losses in court, what's that going to do to the entire picture? So right now, they're very careful not to get sued. This case in Alabama is a guy who played for Alabama 2 years. Heck, when he was at Alabama, he only averaged 6 points a game, Mark, okay? But he put his name in the NBA draft, okay?
It's like you're at, okay. It's like you're still coaching at Florida Tech. You're like, you know what? I miss Chris Carter. Let me give him a call. Where's he at? In Germany?
Germany, playing pro basketball.
You know what? Let's get him back at school. All right, let's go.
Hey, but wait, you make a great point, okay? On this issue, so many college basketball fans, and again, the big-time coaches like John Calipari or Tom Izzo, they're jumping on their bandwagon right now, trying to say everything that's wrong with this situation, right? But here's the problem. And the fans don't recognize this, but coaches do know this. They just don't want to talk about this, okay? When you see an American kid that all of a sudden said, well, he's been in the G League, he's been playing pro, and he now wants to come back and play college, right? The NCAA has been letting pro players play for years. Every European kid that played in the NCAA had played pro in Europe before he came to America. Luka Doncic, now, okay, he didn't play in the NCAA.
I know what you're saying.
But Luka was a pro playing for one of the top clubs in the Euro League at 15 years old. I guarantee he was getting paid. Well, so is every 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid. Is if they're playing for a professional club in the Euro League or in Europe, they're getting paid something. They're practicing against pros. They're playing against pros. They're being treated like a pro with gear and travel and bonuses and perks. The NCAA has been allowing pro players for years, but they sweep it under the rug because America gets a little insular. We don't watch those pro games in Europe. We don't know those kids right now. Let's pick this up. Illinois has a really good basketball team. What do they start? 5 European kids right now? A buddy of ours, Jeremy Schulman at UT Martin, is doing great this year. They might win that league. They might get to the NCAA tournament, right? He's doing a great job. Hats off to Jeremy. Fantastic job. We knew he would do it. He's doing it. What does he start? If you could start 8 foreign kids, he'd start 8 foreign kids. No Americans. But guess what? Again, all of those European kids that come to the NCAA, they've already been playing some level of professional basketball. And in the past, we've allowed some 20-year-old, 21, 22-year-old freshmen from Europe who've been playing pro basketball. So don't just jump on the bandwagon right now, big-time coaches, and start shouting. And here's the last point I'm going to make on this, okay? Right. These big-time coaches got paid $4 million a year, $5 million a year, $8 million a year. They never complained about the money they got, right? And here's the funny thing. So now the players are getting paid millions of dollars. AJ DeBonsa at Arizona, what's he getting, like $7 million a year to play out at BYU?
BYU.
At BYU. I'm saying it because they just lost Arizona. at BYU. He's getting paid millions of dollars. He may be making more money than his coach. Brings me back to a great story. Dick Vitale, when he coached the Detroit Pistons. He told me this over lunch one day in Clemson, South Carolina. I was having the great pleasure of having lunch with Dick Vitale. And I was sitting there picking his brain. And Dickie V, I said, why did you get out of the NBA? Because you were coaching the Detroit Pistons. Why did you leave and go back to the NCAA? He said, Coach, he said, because I got on a plane one day in the NBA in Detroit, and we were going to LA to play the Lakers. And I got on the plane, and as I boarded the plane, I walked past the first row in first class, and two of my players, hey, coach, how are you? Then I went to the next row, and two more of my players, hey, coach, and the next row. All of first class were my players. I had a ticket in the back of the plane because my players had better seats on the plane, and they made more money than me. Guess what, college basketball? Now the players in college are sitting in first class and making more money than the coaches.
Look, I love that story. I love it so much. I love it. I'm happy you got to give your 2 cents. I texted you a couple days ago where I was like, yeah, you got to give your thoughts. You're like, I'll be ready. I'll give you my thoughts. Let's end with this. Let's go to the National Basketball Association. So the Magic are on a current 4-game losing streak. I watched the game on Peacock Monday night where they lost to Cleveland. All right. The expectations for this team this year were to be a top 4 seed. You know, this was it. Make a deep playoff run. It still could happen. They are currently, as of today, 23-22. 4-game losing streak. They are 4-6 in their last 10. Here's who they have coming up. You brought up UCF, their schedule. Here is what the Magic have. At Miami tonight, Toronto at home Friday, games on ESPN. At San Antonio against the alien, Wembanyama. At Oklahoma City, the best team in basketball. Then you have Brooklyn, Utah, Milwaukee. Both those probably don't have Giannis. Okay? I don't want to hear excuses anymore. I think there's a part of me. I know they're blaming Coach Mosley. Every fan's like, you got to fire the coach. This is on the players. You guys have played together for a couple years. I don't want to hear it anymore. This is the pressure of trying to win and breaking through. You guys are not freshmen. You're not rookies. Now it's put up or shut up time. I'm very disappointed in the team. How about you, Coach?
Well, I know the fans are disappointed. I know you're disappointed. I think there's one caveat that we have to throw in here and say this is why, in my opinion, this is why they're 23-22 right now, okay? And not as where they'd like to. And look, it doesn't. If you look back at that, where you were just going where they were in the table, right, in the standings. If you look back at that, they're 23. They're 1 game over 500, right? But 3 or 4 wins is a huge difference in where you sit in the standings. If instead of 23-22, they were 28-17, they'd be sitting in pretty good shape right now.
Yeah.
Okay? So I look at that and say, right now there's a big lump of teams that are in the middle of the pack in both conferences, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. There's a lot. My buddy Chris Finch, was on a 4-game losing streak until they beat Golden State a couple nights ago in the game where all the superstars sat out. No Anthony Edwards didn't play, no Steph Curry, no Draymond Green. It was a superstarless game, and Minnesota won to end their 4 or 5 game losing streak, right? So, and I think they're a contender in the West, but they're in that clump of teams in the West that are all around the same right now. There's 1 game separating like 3 or 4 spots in the standings. So that's number 1. Number 2, what is the difference in those few games, Mark? Healthy teams. Yeah. Just look at the Indiana Pacers, for instance. They're missing 2 superstars practically the entire season so far, and they look like the worst team in basketball. But they're only missing 2 great players. So I go back to the Magic that we're talking about, okay? I think the Magic, what's hurt them is having key personnel out for long periods of times. Suggs was out injured. You and I were at a game. We saw him in plain clothes. And you said to him, hey, we got to get you back in the lineup. Got to get you healthy. Got to get you back. That hurt the man. Then what else happened? Franz Wagner out with injury, long time. Mo Wagner out with injury, a long time. You're talking key personnel for these guys. Paolo was out with injury for quite a while. And even though I think they have the talent to win now and the depth to win, they also need to be together. You talk about them playing together for a couple of years. This season, right now they haven't played together that much because one or another, here or there. Paolo's back, Franz is out. Okay? Mo's back, but Suggs is out. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody that seems to be missing. So the stat I'd really like to look at is how many games have they played at full strength?
Not many.
Very few games.
And here's the question on top of that then. Even when they get everyone back, their full strength, do you really believe they could stay healthy for a long stretch of time? I don't.
Well,
that's the other problem.
This is why I say, and you said this a moment ago, the fans may be shouting, screaming. They always do, right? You can't blame Mosley for doing the best he can with what he has to work with. You know, it's like you go to play a game of poker. You play 5-card poker. The dealer deals you 5 cards. Well, basketball, the coach has dealt 5 guys that are going to start that game, right? He can only play the cards he's dealt. If on this night 3 of his aces are in plain clothes, then he's playing a hand of cards that the other team might have aces full. And he's sitting on there 2 10s, a jack, a queen, okay, and a 6. You're not winning that poker hand like that because your aces are in plain clothes. So Mosley is limited. All coaches are. You have to play the hands you're dealt. And I believe there's 3 things it takes to win championships or to put yourself in a position to compete for championships. Number 1, you have to have talent. Do the Orlando Magic have talent right now? Yes, they do.
Yes.
Right? I think they have the talent to compete for top 4 spot in the conference. Okay? So do a lot of teams, but they do have the talent to compete. So number 1, you have to have talent. Number 2, you have to have a little bit of luck. Okay? Number 2, you have to be lucky. All right? I know that I've seen a few games this year that even when they weren't at full strength, they were right there knocking on the door, trying to win the game, and they just didn't have the luck go their way. They lost tough, close games. So they have not had all the luck go their way. And the third thing you got to have is you got to be healthy. The teams that win championships are healthy. It's certainly when they make that championship run. Look at last year, the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Okay, I know they had a great team throughout the season, but Chet Holmgren missed almost half the season, maybe more than half the regular season. But for the playoffs, they were at full strength. When it became postseason time, OKC rolled through those playoffs. Saying that, they did have a couple of rounds where they were pushed to the brink, right? But they pretty much rolled through the playoffs, but they did so with a healthy squad. And as long as you have talent, a little bit of luck, and a healthy team, you have a shot at it, okay? The Magic have talent. They haven't been lucky. They haven't been healthy. Is it too late for them? Is it time to panic? No, it's not. You asked the perfect question, okay? Can they stay healthy down the stretch? Can they get Franz back as well? And down the stretch, can they have their best players available to play night in and night out? If you do, you have the talent, the quality, you're healthy. Now, just a little bit of luck goes your way, and you're back in the mix.
I'll just say this, and I'll let you go. They got to get Franz back. I can't. He's such an integral part of this team. He is a superstar. They need him. My thing right now is Paolo. I mean, look, he looked great on Monday, 37 points in the loss. He is a bull in a china shop. Let him run wild, okay? But the key is, who wants to step up and be the second option? It's open. Who wants to sit in that seat at the table? Go. If you want to be Anthony Black, Desmond Bain, someone has to step up, right? There's no more BS for this. You got to step up for it.
Well, and you and I talked about this earlier this year, and even the night that we went to watch them play. Desmond Bain has been up and down. He's a roller coaster, you know. You look at him, some nights he looks like he's the best player in the NBA. Some nights he looks like he should be the first guy coming off the bench. And that's been the consistency has not been there for some of their top quality. You mentioned Anthony Black, AB. I mean, let's go back to the highlight of the year so far. His dunk in Germany, in Berlin, his dunk on 4 Memphis Grizzly players. That photo is, people talk about, oh, where can I buy the poster? That ought to be a movie picture all of its own. You need that in IMAX. A poster doesn't do that dunk justice.
It's a great dunk. Memphis are a bunch of jabronis, if I'm going to use a wrestling term, because I don't know why they're all jumping for it. But the thing is, okay, Franz played in that game, and I get why he's in Germany, but maybe he shouldn't have played. It feels like they're still stuck in Germany. I don't know if they've won since then, that game. It's just so weird. All right. We have to go to a UCF game. We have to go to an Orlando game moving forward. Coach Mims, thank you so much for your help. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. All right.
Thanks, Mark. Stay warm and enjoy the college basketball and NBA. It's heating up right now. It might be cold in Central Florida. Basketball's heating up.